Hey, I'm Sam Moinet, the founder of Student Breakthrough and the Educators Coaching Academy. I'm a former teacher and international coach and speaker. And right now I just want to take you back to where it all began. When I was growing up, I only had one goal in mind, and that was to join the British Army. Since doing some work on myself with personal development, I've realised that everything I was doing up to a point was to make my mum and dad proud of me. And in this case, my dad, who's such an inspiration and served in the Falklands War in the 1980s and was in the submarine service. So I had this vision as a young boy to go and join the army. That's all I wanted to do. And in 2012 I achieved my dream of going to Sandhurst to become an officer. But in the process of applying, I got dealt my first failure or setback. And I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And this meant that I couldn't go and pursue my vision of being in the military. That day in 2012, when I received the news, I literally collapsed onto the floor in the fetal position and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. Because you see, I got told growing up that we have to man up, we have to pull our socks up, and that any sign of weakness or talking about your emotions is not courageous. Now, I took all of this pain into my next venture, and I sort of stumbled into teaching. Now, I didn't want to really be a teacher when I was growing up at all, but I had no other options. I felt like my mum was a primary school teacher, so I can go and do that as well. And when I became a teacher back in 2013, my mental health really started to unravel. It got so bad that I couldn't actually get out of bed to go and teach classes. And there was one time when I was teaching 30 16-year-olds, and a student asked me how I was doing. And I responded with fine. Feelings inside not expressed. Because inside, my anxiety was so much that I was literally almost screaming. I had to turn away from that class, not to write on the whiteboard, but because I had tears rolling down my cheeks. And actually that moment of breaking down in front of a class like that, and being at rock bottom, was the moment I needed to change something in my life. Now I had no idea what support there was out there, and luckily the universe provided me with something. My friend said, hey, why don't you talk to this guy, he's a coach. Now I had no idea what coaching was. As a sportsman, I thought coaching was for cricket, for football, for rugby. This guy was a coach that was different. He was a coach for my mindset and actually how I felt inside. Now the date is ingrained. The 23rd of April 2015, I had my first ever coaching session. Now all this guy did was so simple. He just listened to me. He was a heart with ears. He asked me some powerful questions, and he gave me some silence. Now this magic formula of this process enabled me to open up. And for the first time in my life, I was able to express and not suppress what was really going on for me. Through him giving me the space, I realised that the failure I faced with the army was actually a blessing, and I was right where I needed to be. And I finished this conversation and I walked around a park in my hometown, Milton Keynes. And for the first time in about 3 years, the park was vibrant. It was colourful. It was bright. It was a bit like taking your sunglasses off and the world all of a sudden was there in front of me. I'd never experienced anything like this. Now I dealt with my own challenges and setbacks, and as a result I went back into teaching with so much enthusiasm. I can't describe the feeling of going back. It was an emotional experience because I'd left my own baggage behind and I was now able to step up and serve the young people in my form group and in my classes. And I love teaching, and I always will. But when I went back in 2015, 2016, I started to see so many students that were struggling with anxiety, with depression, and just not feeling good enough. And the challenge with the education system is there's not enough support or the right type of support, I feel, to help these young people. So I give all my great ideas just before my head hits the pillow. And in 2016, my head hit the pillow, and just as I was about to fall asleep, my brain was quiet. I had the idea of, what if I could help young people with their mental health? What if I could actually make a difference and not just teach them history, but teach them life skills that's going to help them become a resilient adult? And for looking at different therapies and coaching and counselling, I came down on coaching, and in 2017 I became a qualified coach. And as a result, I made my own program called the 3 Bs, which is Boost, Believe and Breakthrough. And I created a great company called Student Breakthrough. I started working with students after school in my break times, literally whenever I could fit a coaching session in, I'd be coaching young people. And I was driving home from school after a coaching session. The sun was shining, had the windows down, music on. And I had tears again rolling down my cheeks. But these weren't tears of sadness or pain. It was like a thunderbolt moment of being hit with life's purpose. Like, this is what I was put on this earth to do, to help and support young people be their very best. I left the classroom in 2018, and I had no business skills, no business attributes at all, apart from the blind determination to make a difference. And I struggled. And in the first few months, I had to go and get a supply teaching job. I had to suck up, my ego was hurt so bad, but I went and got a supply teaching job. And in one of the schools, the head teacher asked me if I could work with their pupil premium students and coach them. And it was the first big break. And I started to work with students in the school and run workshops and teaching events and parent events. And I was just saying yes to every opportunity. Richard Branson says, say yes and make it up later. And that's exactly what I was doing. In 2019, after getting great results, teachers were coming to me and asking me, hey Sam, can you train me in what you do? And again, say yes and make it up later. And it was this great ripple effect. The first lady I trained, Jo, she was a teacher in Swansea. And in her school, she had a high percentage of people who weren't going to school. They were very anxious. And through Jo using my program, she was able to help these students go and get an education. And it was this like dropping a pebble on a pond and watching this ripple effect just come out and spread. And since then, we've trained nearly 100 people in our coaching methods. And right now, we're going for our ICF accredited course to make the program even better. Now, the last part of the journey so far has been a big break in 2021. A school in North London said, hey Sam, can you train our teachers in what you do? And of course I said yes, I can do it, I can make it work. And I took these teachers through a coach training program. They were learning new skills, they were learning new tools, and they were learning new exercises to better support young people. And if I'm honest, that's all I cared about, how they can better support the students. What I didn't realise at the time was by teachers going through this program, they were uncovering so much about themselves. You know, they were making their unconscious conscious. They were finding out more, they were learning new strategies to help with their own mental health. And again, this thunderbolt moment. Wow, this program is helping. It's just one program with so many benefits for the whole school community. And I got so excited. The days of being a magpie and saying yes to different things and finding the shiny objects, you know, those were over. And I realised that this program, which is now called the Educators Coaching Academy, is the thing that is going to change mental health support in schools for so many students and staff. In 2022, we were building this product and we were developing it, and so far it's helped people in China, in Spain, in Portugal, and also the UK. We're training people in Havana, in Cuba, in America, in Dubai, and it's this beautiful program that is just so organic and is helping so many people to thrive. And it all started from being diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2012. It all started from breaking down and crying in front of a class. And it all started by having to actually swallow my pride, you know, and go and get a supply teaching job. Never forget why you started, and never forget the impact you've made so far in your life, because contribution is the most important quality that we can share. Thank you.